Welcome. This is Soothing Whispers ASMR. As always, if there are any sounds or words you would like to hear me perform, please leave them below in the comments. Tonight I thought we could enjoy some of the delightful fairy tales by the Brothers Grimm, beginning with the Elves and the Cobbler. Once upon a time there lived a cobbler. He was honest and hardworking, but he was very poor. Times were bad, and he grew poorer and poorer. At last he had only enough leather to make one pair of shoes. This he cut out one night. "Now," he said, "I am all ready to begin work in the morning. I will get up early and make these shoes." Then he said his prayers and went to bed and slept in peace. In the morning he got up early to begin his work. How surprised he was to find the shoes lying finished on the table. He looked carefully at them, but there was not a bad stitch in the work. Who had done it? He could not even guess. Soon a man came in to buy some shoes. The pair was so well made that he bought it for a good price. With this money the shoemaker got leather to make 2 pairs. That night he cut them out, but he did not have to make them next day. The work was done for him in the night. He sold these 2 pairs of shoes and bought leather for 4 pairs. These he cut out that night and found finished the next morning. So it went on. The work which he began one day, he found finished the next. He had only to buy leather and cut out the shoes. One winter night the shoemaker cut out several pairs of shoes. Then, instead of going to bed, he said to his wife, "My dear, I should like to find out who helps us every night. Suppose we sit up and watch." His wife agreed. So they left the candle burning. They hid themselves in a corner of the room. As the clock struck 12, there came into the room 2 little naked elves. They sat down on the shoemaker's table and began to work. They sewed so well and so fast that the shoes were soon finished. Then they skipped down and away they went. The next morning the wife said, "Husband, these little men have helped us, and I should like to do something for them. Hear my plan. They must be cold, running about with not a rag upon their backs. I will make them some clothes and knit them some stockings. Do you make a pair of shoes for each." "That I will, and gladly too," said her husband. So they set to work and made the clothes and shoes. That night they did not put any work on the table. Instead, they laid there the gifts. Then they hid to see what the little men would do. At midnight in the elves came. They jumped up on the table, expecting to find leather cut out for them to make into shoes. There was nothing but the beautiful little clothes. The elves looked at them in wonder. They felt the soft cloth and put their hands in the little pockets. At last they dressed themselves and jumped and danced for joy. Over stools and chairs they went, singing, "Who will wonder at our glee? Happy little men are we, well dressed now as you may see." At last they danced out of the room, and they never came back any more. But the shoemaker, who had been so kind to those who had helped him, was never again in want. As long as he lived, he and his wife lacked nothing. Next up, we have the king of the birds. A bear and a wolf were walking together in the woods. "Listen, brother wolf," said the bear, "what bird is that singing?" "That is the king of the birds," said the wolf. "We must treat him with great respect." The wolf was in fun, for it was only a little wren. The wren is sometimes called the hedge king. "Is that the king of birds?" said the bear. "I have long wished to see the home of a king. Come and show me his house." "Wait till the queen comes home," said the wolf. Soon Jenny Wren came in sight, bringing food for her little ones. "The king did not choose a very beautiful mate," said the bear. "Let us follow and see their home." But the wolf held him back. "No, let us wait until the king and queen go away," he said. When the wrens flew away, the bear and the wolf went to the tree. The bear climbed up to peep into the nest. There he saw 5 young birds. "Do you call this a king's house?" he cried to the wolf. "Why, it is only a clod of mud and grass. In it are 5 ugly little things with big mouths and no feathers." The young wrens heard and were very angry. "We are not ugly little things," they cried, "and our home is all that heart could wish. You shall be made to beg our pardon for such a speech." The bear laughed and went on his way. The little wrens cried and quarreled till their father and mother came back. "We will not eat a thing, not even a fly's leg, till the bear is punished," they said. "He laughed when the wolf told him we are king's children. He called our nest a clod and said that we are ugly little things." "Do not fret about that," said the father wren. "The bear shall be punished." Then he flew to the bear's den and said, "Old growler, how dare you show so little respect for a king? You shall suffer for it. Prepare to fight." The bear called to his help all the 4-footed things of the wood and field, the wolf, the deer, the fox, and many others. The wren gathered together all things that fly, not only the birds, great and small, came to his help, but bees and gnats, and all other winged things. The smallest of the gnats was sent to find out the bear's plans. The gnat hid under a leaf where he could see and hear without being seen. Fox, you are the most cunning of us all, he heard the bear say, so you shall lead the fight. Good, said the fox, but we have no flag. What shall we use instead? No one seemed to know. Well, said the fox, I have a beautiful, long, bushy tail. I will hold it up as long as everything is well. Then you must all go forward. But if I lower my tail, run away as fast as you can. The gnat flew back and told word for word what the fox had said. Aha, said the wren, stands the matter thus? Brother wasp, when the fight begins, fly to the fox. Whenever he raises his tail, sting it with all your might. Next morning the fight began. There were so many beasts that the ground trembled under their tread. The flying things croaked and buzzed and squawked, and darkened the air like a thunder cloud. The fox now wished the beasts to march forward, so he raised his bushy tail for a flag. At once the wasp stung him so that he jumped high in the air. Still he kept his tail up. A second time the wasp stung him. It hurt so that the fox was forced to lower his tail, but he raised it again. When the wasp stung him a third time, the fox could bear it no longer. He dropped his tail between his legs. Away he ran as fast as he could go. When the beasts saw this, they were sure that the day was lost. They ran this way and that to hide, and so the birds won the fight. Back flew the wren to his nest. Be glad, O children, he cried, eat and drink, for we have won the day. No, said the young wrens, we will not eat nor drink till the bear comes and begs our pardon. The wren flew to the bear's den. Old growler, he cried, if you do not wish to fight again, come and beg our children's pardon. The bear in great fright crawled to the tree and begged pardon for his rude speech. Then the little wrens were quite content. They ate and drank and were merry all day. The gifts of the little people. A blacksmith and a tailor had been at work all day. In the evening they walked together in the country. The moon rose as they were on a lonely road. All at once they heard far off music. It was so sweet that they forgot how tired they were and hurried forward. The sound grew clearer and clearer. Soon they came to a hillside. There they saw a crowd of merry little men and women. They were dancing in a ring to the sound of music. In the middle of the ring was a little man with a long white beard which reached to his waist. He wore a coat of many colors. The tailor and the blacksmith stood still watching the dancers. Soon the little old man made signs for them to come inside the ring. At first they did not wish to do this, but when they saw how merry and good-natured the little people were, they entered the ring. Round and round danced the little men and women. After a while the old man drew a large knife from his belt. He felt the edge and sharpened it on a stone. Then he turned and looked hard at the strangers. They were frightened, but they had no time to run away. He caught the blacksmith and shaved off his hair and beard. Then he turned to the tailor and shaved him too. After doing this, he patted them on their backs to show that he was pleased with them. He pointed to a heap of coals on the roadside and made signs to them to fill their pockets. Both obeyed, though they could not see what would be the use of a pocket full of coals. Now the clock struck 12. All at once the music stopped, and in a flash the little people were gone. They lay there on the hillside in the moonlight. The tailor and the blacksmith rubbed their eyes. Was it all a dream? No, there were their shaven heads, and there were their pockets full of coals. They walked down the road till they came to a house where they wished to spend the night. There was nowhere for them to sleep but in the stable. They lay down on the straw and fell asleep. They were too tired even to take the coals out of their pockets. But early the next morning the weight awakened them. What was their surprise to find that instead of coals their pockets were full of lumps of gold. Their beards, too, had grown again, and their heads were covered with hair. They were now very rich. The blacksmith had larger pockets, and he had even more gold than the tailor, but he was not content. "Ah, tailor friend," he said, "I wish we had known those coals would change to gold. I should have taken more. I should have filled my hands as well as my pockets. Let us go back to the hillside tonight. No doubt the little old man will give us more." "No," said the tailor, "I am content. The little man gave me more gold than I had ever hoped to see. Instead of trying to get more, I will make the best of what I have." "Then I will go alone," said the blacksmith. He had the tailor make his pockets larger, and he brought 2 great bags. Then he went to the hillside. He found the little people dancing and singing as on the former night. Again they took him into the ring. The old man shaved him and made signs to him to take some coal. He filled all his pockets and both the bags. Then he went home, dragging his heavy load. He had a bed that night, but he did not take off his clothes. "The weight of the gold in my pockets will wake me early," he said. "Then I will rise and count my riches." Early the next morning he started up and put his hands in his pockets. There were coals, black coals. Handful after handful he pulled out, but no gold. In the bags, too, there were only coals. "Well, I still have the gold I got the first night," he said. "That is safe." And he went to look at it. Alas, It was all turned to coal. He put his smutty hands up to his head. It was bald and his chin was smooth. Alas, he cried, I am punished for being greedy. I wanted more, and I have lost what I had. He began to groan so loud that he waked the tailor. Do not be so sad, said the tailor. You and I have long been friends. I have more gold than I should need, and you shall share it. He kept his word, but the tailor could not put back the blacksmith's hair. As long as the blacksmith lived, he had to wear a cap to hide his bald head. I hope you enjoyed the fairy tales by the magnificent Brothers Grimm. I fear that we have come to the end of our video. As always, I wish you a wonderful day and a wonderful night. Sweet dreams.